To me, as a Muslim, and this is what we're discussing here, to me, to say God is a part of the creation in the sense that He is human, that He goes to the bathroom, that He has to go to that He has those human flaws that Jesus would have had as a human being, not moral flaws, right? But we're talking about just physical flaws that we have as humans. To me, is just like you saying a square circle. To me, I see no difference in that. It's apples and oranges, right? Humans, خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانَ ضَعِيفًا, right? Humans have these weaknesses, right? Even if you take Adam before the fall, right? Obviously, he had some inclination to make a mistake, and that's why he ate from the tree that he shouldn't have, right? So that means by nature, even before the fall, he had that weakness to make that mistake. But Allah doesn't. The Creator does not. The Creator does not cry out and say, my God, my God. See, this is a human attribute where you are calling out to your Creator, right? Now, if the Creator is God Himself, He doesn't call out to Himself. He doesn't say, my God. Like you never see the Father in the Bible saying, my God, right? David?
So, well,
let him. I asked David, bro. Anthony, take it. Is your name David? I said right, David.
So, when we were talking, he was just.
Oh, he made a point, so I was responding to his point, but you're gonna.
Made a good point. I agree with you.
All right.
I'll take that as a response to me.
Well, I was going to jump in with that.
Oh,
another
okay.
example.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So, something that I don't know your beliefs about the Quran, and I'm not changing subject.
Did you get my question though?
Yeah, I've got it
Okay.
for like the last.
No, I just asked you a question right now.
Yeah, it would make sense for the Father to cry out, my God, right?
Why?
Apart from becoming incarnate.
Yeah, apart from becoming.
No, I'm saying for the Father.
Yeah. Right.
Do you ever see the Father saying, my God?
He refers to the Son.
Can I speak? Man, David, you got like a recon to us or something? Like you pull strings?
Why are you so afraid to hear
I'm
a couple
not.
people?
I will talk to you.
It's not like I'm going to let you talk too.
I'm going to let him talk first, and then I'll talk to you. I've been talking to you this whole time. So the question, David, is, do you ever find the Father saying, my God?
He calls Jesus God.
My God?
No, if you're talking about Jesus crying out, my God, you say, no, the Father doesn't do that, right?
Okay.
We don't believe
Gotcha. So the Father, then this is the nature of the Creator. He doesn't call out. He is the one you call out to. That's the nature of God. And the nature of humans is we have weaknesses, so we call out to our Creator. Right? This is the exact point you're missing. Right? Humans have those shortcomings, those needs, those necessities that the Creator doesn't. So the Creator doesn't call out and says, my God, why have you forsaken me? But a human would.
Yeah, and so this, yeah, he
was human.
Yeah, and so.
But he was God, you're saying.
I just wanted.
He became flesh.
But he was completely God.
You don't realize you're begging the question.
No.
Yeah,
I'm making a very clear distinction.
Go
ahead.
So I don't know exactly what you believe about the Quran and the speech.
I believe in the Quran, the Kalam of Allah.
Yeah. But lots of Muslims tell me that Allah's speech is eternal, co-eternal with Allah.
Sure.
And this isn't. I'm not changing the subject here. This is an example. This is an example of what we're talking about.
I'm listening.
So, if the Quran is Allah's eternal speech, then if you were to say, hey, does it make sense does the Quran have a beginning? Something like that. I would say, no, if it's eternal, then it has no beginning.
You're right.
If you said, can it be corrupted? I would say, no, it's divine. It can't be corrupted, right? So if you were to ask these kinds of questions, I would say, as far as the eternal speech of Allah or an attribute of God, I would say those kinds of things, it doesn't make sense to raise those kinds of questions, right? But if you were to say to me that we have a physical Quran, right?
Excellent.
This doesn't have the Arabic in it, but assuming this had the Arabic in it, that we have a physical copy of the Quran.
Excellent.
Then it seems like the physical copy of the Quran would kind of have two natures. It's the eternal speech of Allah, and yet it's entered our world because we have a physical world. It's entered our world as a physical book made of paper and glue and ink. And therefore, if you were to ask me, does it make sense to talk about this as having a beginning, or about this being corrupted and changed and so on, then I would say, yes, it's a physical book. Of course, it can fall apart. It eventually will. You mentioned earlier that people can eat it or burn it or all kinds of things. And so it makes sense to talk about a physical
weird people, yeah.
It makes sense to talk about a physical Quran. So in other words, I would say that a book that has two natures, that it's the eternal speech of Allah entered into creation in a physical form so that we can have it, it now makes sense to talk about this having a beginning, and I'm assuming it has a publication date. So it now makes sense to talk about this having a publication date. It now makes sense. It didn't make sense before when you're talking about the speech of Allah before it comes into creation.
Excellent.
Once it enters into creation, now we can ask these questions. But if I were to take your objection seriously, I would have to say, no, it's absurd to talk about these eternal things that can't be corrupted, being corruptible, having a beginning, having an end, falling apart. That makes no sense of the eternal speech of
Excellent,
Allah.
excellent,
Are you playing
excellent.
chopsticks? Oh no, you guys don't
No,
do music.
that was-
You don't do music.
No, I'll let you play the music for us. All right.
I don't know how to play music.
Come on, learn. All right, so now, excellent answer. I appreciate that. All right, so let's go to that now, right? The Quran is Kalamullah, right? The Quran will never call out to Allah. Okay? Now, in the Quran, you will never say take it easy, 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 Anthony.
Is it true?
Hold it together, Crook. Hold it together. I will.
Repeat it?
I will.
Repeat that.
I will. Okay? The Quran itself is Kalamullah, right? The Quran responds to, for example, the Prophet ﷺ, right? But the Quran does not speak to Allah. It is the speech of Allah. Allah teaches us, for example, ad'iyah, which are called dua, supplications, for us to use to call to Allah, right? But let me finish, bro. Take it easy. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so now, when you say this has a publication date, none of us standing here as Muslims will say this is a part of the creator, right? This here is a published book. That's why the Quran is recited and the Quran is revealed. It was never sent just like a book, right? Because then that book, once it hits the earth, then that would be part of the worldly things. That's why Imam al-Bukhari has a book called Khalaq al-Af'al al-Ibad, where he talks about the recitation or the paper or the ink is not what is Quran. Quran is what is revealed. And before the Day of Judgment, it will be taken up. And that revelation can never be corrupted. That revelation is always preserved. And that revelation doesn't weaken. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, when you talk about Jesus now, on the other hand, when you say that he came and he became human, but then at the same breath you say that he's always one, God is not divisible. So you're saying then that is God himself, even though he's human, and even though he is God, the Father and him are the same thing, but he's saying, oh my God, why have you forsaken me? That makes absolutely no sense.
Okay, great. So you've said the fact that Christ, the second person of the Trinity, the Son of God, by virtue of becoming human and crying out to the Father, that there's a problem with that, a logical problem, and that's not something that Islam has to deal with. Now, number one, I don't think that's a logical problem, but number two, I also don't think that's true Islamically.
Go ahead.
I'd like you to tell me
Sure.
where I may have that wrong. I don't think I do.
You never know.
But I grant that you're the imam, right? So, my understanding, which I have from other Muslims, which is part and parcel of why I hold that, and have read in the Islamic sources, that the Quran itself does intercede for Muslims, or will, on the Day of Judgment, right? The Quran will appear as a pale man and will say that it was the Muslim's companion in life and will intercede for him. Is that not correct?
Can you give me a reference for that?
That's in the hadith.
Which hadith?
Seriously, you don't think I'm going to go back? I mean, like, I don't know.
Are you saying that's not in the hadith?
That is not in any authentic hadith that
Okay.
I've ever read.
So you'd say it's
can
not
I
authentic.
can I finish?
No, that's
Okay,
fine. If
it's
you
okay.
say it's not authentic.
Hold
then
on, take it easy, Anthony. So, to say the Quran will appear as a pale man, and what did you say? It would be with
the Quran will intercede for Muslims and will say that it
as a
was-
pale man.
well, that's in a Tirmidhi hadith, for example.
Let's just
can look
hold.
for
Let's look for it. So no, hold on. Because see, I like to discuss on evidences. So if can I find a hadith in a Tirmidhi that says the Quran will be a pale man? Let's just find that, and then I will explain from there.
Okay, so, but that kind of misses the point that I'm making. You're focused on the pale man part, but
Excellent.
I think you and I both know that it's classically Islamic to say the Quran will intercede for you.
So let me explain the shifa of the Quran.
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
Explain that.
excellent. The Quran is Kalamullah. Okay. What?
You told us that part.
I know, that's part of the explanation.
Okay,
Take it
go
easy, Anthony.
Okay.
Okay. the Quran that is read by us, right? I mean, when we read the Quran, that Kalamullah will be a evidence for us. Do you understand what that means? That the fact that we stayed up at nights and read the Quran will make shifa. It will be an intercession. It will not be asking Allah for help or asking Allah separately than anything. It is only the fact that that good deed will be an intercession for you. Like if you had read the actual hadith, it talks about the Quran and another hadith about the siyam, the fasting. Right? We don't say fasting by itself is an entity, but it's the deed that is that intercedes for you.
So does the hadith say that the deed of reciting the Quran will intercede for you, or does the hadith say the Quran will intercede
again,
for you?
so this is the thing. When you say Al-Quran was siyam, these two will be shifa. They will be an intercession, right? So what does that mean? That it is that deed of reading the Quran. Do you understand what that means now?
Well, I understand what you're claiming.
Okay.
That's just not what.
So let's see the.
I searched for it. The first one that popped up. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first one that popped up was in Ibn Majah.
So in Tirmidhi, there is no such hadith that says the Quran will be a pale man.
That's just the first one that popped up.
Okay, so can we look at the Tirmidhi one first?
Okay, I'll find the
I just want to see.
Notice the Ibn Majah version says the Quran will come on the day of resurrection like a pale man, and will say, "I am the one that kept you awake at night and made you thirsty during the day."
Excellent, excellent. So let's now go to. Hold on, take it easy, guy.
I was trying to. Oh, you're trying to see that?
No, take it easy. This is why.
You're not seriously going to go to Google Translate, are you?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I know you know
You're
Arabic.
funny.
I
You're
know
funny.
you know Arabic.
You don't have Arabic keyboard?
No.
Okay. I was just going to show you the takhrij. You know what takhrij is? Okay. The checking of the narration.
Okay.
This narration of Ibn Majah is a very weak narration.
They didn't grade it this week.
Can you show me their grading?
Yeah, it's in Hassan.
Let me see it. Go, just hit back.
It's in Arabic now.
You just ruined his phone. You can't see anything.
Oh,
English
he'll
now.
see it. Where does it say Hassan? No, this is Darus Salam's grading, right? So this is not sunnah.com, just a website. Okay? So
Darus Salam.
Darus Salam is a publishing house, right? But that's not the grading
They
of.
give the rating according to Hadith scholars, right? They're not just making it up.
No. So we need to. I know this hadith, and that's why I was telling you, right? And I can show you the weakness in it if you like. Darus Salam is a publishing house, not a scholar itself, right? Their grading by itself is not a hujjah, it's not an evidence. You have to look at the evidence from the scholars of hadith. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I asked you, right? Now, if you like, and if you, how long are you in San Diego? Let me just finish. How long are you in San Diego?
We're leaving tonight.
Oh, nice. I was going to invite you to my house. I have Ibn Majah.
Man, I appreciate the fact
look,
that you would have invited
you got
me.
dinner, you got tea, I got you. All right? And I would sit with you and explain to you from the sharh of Ibn Majah why this hadith is da'if actually. Because I teach Aqidah and I taught the subject. Okay? In the authentic narration, and again, this is not in a Tirmidhi, by the way, anyway. Let me see the Tirmidhi riwayah you had, right? You said you had a Tirmidhi riwayah?
So I could.
So I have to search for it.
I'll wait for it. In the authentic narration, it does not mention the pale man. That's why I was trying to explain to you. Rather, the Quran and its shifa is from the one who stayed up at night. So the shifa is the Quran asking intercession from the deed of you staying up nights. Do you understand the understanding there, right?
Yeah, right there.
Now, when you look at Jesus calling out on the cross, according to the Bible that you believe in, right? Saying, oh my God, why have you forsaken me? That is not about a deed that you did. That is one entity calling out to another entity for help and asking, why have you forsaken me? Is that correct or wrong?
So that you know, I'm not saying I have any problem with that. I absolutely affirm that.
So you
the second
affirm
person of the Trinity took on a human nature.
So he was
and
no
by
longer God.
No, he was both God and man, and by virtue of the incarnation, was able to call out to the Father as God.
Okay, so I want to understand that.
I wasn't trying to give an apology.
Okay, so I want to understand.
absolutely affirm that.
Okay, so let me understand what you affirm. You're saying Jesus came to earth and became a man.
Absolutely.
So was he that all-powerful, all-being, has no needs God at that time or not?
He was both God and man.
Again, that's like a square circle,
You
right?
can say that's like
because
a square
because God has no needs, right?
As his divine nature. So think of it this way. I mean, it's not that hard, really.
It is hard because it's confusing. It's like a square circle.
You're asserting that it is. But
To me, it is.
There hasn't been a demonstration of that. What I'm getting at is as God. So as an example, you think man has a soul, man has
Yes.
a body,
Yes.
right? Your soul and your body are not the same thing. They're both you.
True.
We don't want to get into a whole tangent here.
I'm with you.
But
Keep
there are
going.
things that are true of you bodily that aren't true of you in terms of your soul or spirit,
Okay.
right? If your body dies, does your soul die?
No.
No. As Christians, we believe Christ is both God and man, just like man is body and soul.
Okay.
Right? Man has those two constituent elements.
Let me.
But so
speak.
all I'm saying is, although the attributes of Christ as God are such as he is omniscient, omnipotent, omnibenevolent, all of these things, his human attributes and qualities are most definitely character. He's in one place at one time. He gets hungry. He slept. He wept. He died.
Did he go to the bathroom?
He absolutely did.
God went to the
Yeah.
bathroom
God became flesh
and went to the
dwelt
bathroom.
among us, and
Did he get diarrhea?
Secured self. He died on the cross. What more do you want?
That's
than that?
pretty.
What more do you want than that? Huh?
You are Muslim, aren't you?
Huh?
This is
He
a
died on the
secret,
cross.
right?
You're
He got
looking-
tortured. Yeah.
Absolutely.
God got
Beard plucked
tortured.
out,
God.
his beard plucked out. His
Ooh.
back was whipped.
Gotcha.
Huh? Yeah.
And he
gets
cried out to
aggressive.
who?
He cried out to his father.
But he didn't say Father. He said God.
But
He
his
said,
father
"My
is
God."
God. That's
But he is God.
yes.
That
He
doesn't
is-
make sense now.
Now
Again,
you're saying it doesn't make sense.
that doesn't make
We already
sense.
talked about that
No,
earlier.
and it didn't make sense earlier.
No.
But let me.
Well, then it doesn't make sense to say Allah has sifat.
Of
that
course
aren't-
it does.
No.
Allah's
You can't say
sifat
of
are a
course.
part of Him.
Christ
Allah's
is a part of the Father.
But
and
Allah's
his
sifat don't separate. Allah's sifat don't need to go to the bathroom.
The Son, Allah's sifat. Huh?
Go ahead.
You believe that the Quran is the
Again,
instantiation in some sense?
I just told you earlier.
No, I heard what you
no,
said.
no, you didn't.
I did.
No Muslim says that this right in your hand is a part of Allah.
Well, first of all, that's not even an Arabic.
Exactly. So for you to lift this up doesn't make any sense, right?
But you knew what I meant.
I do.
This represents that.
And I will tell you, as I told David, when you didn't listen, I guess, but I'll say it again. You guys want to be? All right,
no,
there
I'm
you go.
listening
All
to you,
right.
but I'm also finding what you wanted because I can get it
Excellent.
really quickly.
Okay, so now the issue gets to be the sifat of Allah are a part of Allah. Even if Allah reveals, you understand the difference between revealing and becoming separate, right? The sifat of Allah never have weaknesses. You can burn the written copy because that's not the Quran. The Quran is what is recited. It cannot be corrupted. Somebody can make a mistake in their reading, but their reading is not the sifat of Allah. Now Jesus saying, "My God,"
Jesus'
is
human nature is not part of his divine essence.